Marli from Tusk Eyebrow Studio, and I'm a brow artist with therightfit. And this is Liz. She'll be my model today from therightfit, and we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to look after your brows. So my first biggest tip when looking at your own brows is that the guidelines that they give you on where the brow should start and finish are just that. They're not essentials and they're not must do, and it does depend on the different features on your face. But as a guideline, you're looking at the middle of the brow, where they sit in the middle, you're looking at the arches, and you're looking at where the brow finishes on the end. So a general rule of thumb when looking at the length of the brow is when we're looking at the middle, we want to take a paddle pop stick and bring it from the corner of the nose to the inside of the eyes and straight up, and that will give you a general rule on where they should sit at the front. When you're looking at your arches, you really need to focus on, if you're looking dead straight, from the corner of the nose again to the outside of the pupil and straight up is where your arches should sit. And for the ends, when you're looking at them, again, it's from the corner of the nose to the corner of the eye and straight up is a good guide on where your brows should be starting, the arches and the ends. So the next thing that we need to look at when looking at your brows is the thickness of the brow. Now they do say that bold brows are the new black, but you do need to really be careful on how bold you take your brows in terms of your face shape so that it doesn't cross the border into almost a masculine brow. So when looking at the thickness of the brow, with Liz's in particular, they are a thicker, fuller brow. She does tend to have more of a petite facial features, so she can pull off a stronger brow. We want to taper the brow, so ideally you want it to start off thicker at the front and taper towards the end, as opposed to the same thickness and consistency the whole way through the brow. So one of the biggest misconceptions with brows is trimming. Do you trim a brow? Do you not trim a brow? At the moment, the style is a thicker, fuller, more natural brow, and trimming, especially at the front of the brow, can create a really blunt finish on the brow. So I wanted to show you how we can fix that problem and balance out the brow without creating a harsh cut. So with the middle of the brow, as the hairs grow towards the middle, the brows actually start to stick up. And to avoid having to trim them and create that blunt cut in the brow, what we actually do is by just using our tweezers and pressing against the front of the brow, you can actually go along with the individual hairs and just snap them off. And that way it breaks each hair individually and you don't actually create this blunt, harsh cut. So one of my other biggest tips for anyone in the modeling industry is what time frame do you leave before a shoot or before a cast to do your brows, especially in particular to the top of the brow, as your makeup can tend to sit a little bit funny through that area if you've just had them waxed. So my final tip on maintaining and looking after your own brows, if you can't make it to see a brow artist, is if you do need to tidy the brow before an audition, the best way to do it is by outlining the brow first and then tweezing around that line. So when outlining the brow to tweeze, we want to go a little bit wider as it gives you room for error. So just outlining the brow along the top and going a little bit further than you normally would, and the same on the underneath. That way it gives you a really good guideline on what to follow and what should be tweezed and what to avoid. So they're my top tips on maintaining and perfecting your own brows. I'm Marli from Tusk Eyebrow Studio, brow artist for therightfit. And remember, never let anyone with bad brows tell you how to live your life.